Yes, I am proud to welcome my good friend John Kerr. His story topic for today is There is no playbook in life. Um, John Kerr, as a dedicated father of sons, he's committed to the community service that spans for years, always aiming to create a positive impact, which, with a rich background in encompassing over 2 decades in media, direct sales, and business development, John has the honor of serving John has had the honor of serving the VP of Advertisement and Gannett and Lee Enterprises. In November of 2022, John co-founded Care for Caregivers. You can be found www.last5yards.com, a nonprofit organization offering essential support to caregivers and aging family members. Embracing the role of a carefluencer, he draws inspiration from individuals who boldly advocate, promote, and contribute to noble causes. Please give me a nice round of applause and welcome John Kerr.
Thank you. There's no playbook in life. I first experienced this with the loss of my son, and then again with my mother. To think my son, unborn, to never make it a breath of his own, and to not hear my mom's voice or to have her by me, it's been really difficult. I felt lost, full of, of grief, without a place to turn, not having a resource or a direction. I struggled trying to learn about self-care. I thought I was finding a new normal until COVID-19 happened. And I stood on rocky grounds again. I felt isolated, sad. I lost my confidence in myself. I went to a church function just to get my mind out of the sorrow and the sadness. And they were having 100-year tradition of a corn festival. And I do like corn. So I went. And this lady pulled across the table from me. And as she sat down, she looked at me and she goes, "I know you." And I'm looking around thinking it has to be someone else. But she continued by saying, "I've had many sons and daughters in my lifetime, and you'll be my last one." Now, I had no clue what I was there for corn. And as we're finishing our ears of corn, she reaches over and says, "I'm going to hospice after this, and I'd like you to join." So I did. I jumped right in. I didn't think about it. I didn't think twice. What else did I have to do? I finally felt like I had a purpose. Someone needed me. I didn't feel alone. I remember rubbing her elbows to her fingertips and from her knees down to her toes, and she just loved it. And we would sing songs. I mean, we had a joy time. It was a lot of fun in the beginning. She would watch In the Heat of the Night, that TV show, and never had it was on mute. I mean, it was completely didn't hear anything. She knew every word, knew when to laugh, knew when she was enjoying herself, and everything was right in the world. Her overall goal in this time period was she wanted to be dealt with respect and dignity. She didn't want to be held on to by her family members, and she requested that of them. She said, "I'm in good hands now, and I would like you guys to leave. Remember the good times of who I am. The pain that I might be going through at this point." She was in good hands. Because my focus was her, what she needed, how she needed it, when she needed it. We created this playbook for her last 5 yards here on earth. We did everything that was needed and required of her. Now, one thing that's important is self-care. Mama B wanted to make sure that we reminded people of that. She also, at 98 years old, 98, she asked me to do two things. One was take care of her son, Chuck. That's much more difficult than it sounded. It's very hard. And second off was to do something good for others. Remind them about that self-care, about who we are, our voice, how we talk about ourselves, how we talk to ourselves, and taking care of one another. Something I've been doing my whole life. and I'm glad to continue to do so. Although she will never know it here on Earth, 9 days after Mama B died, she became my co-founder for Caring for Caregivers and Last5yards.com. Truly a remarkable nonprofit. For us, we're able to talk as carefluencers, right? We give care and attribution to those that are doing the job. There's 53 million caregivers in the United States alone, and we're going worldwide. We want to talk about the transition for what it is for short-term and long-term care, what resources are available. Also, supporting veterans and those living with disabilities. Now, as a carefluencer, we want to talk about the care, but we also need to talk about the person that's going to go through the transition. They need to be at the lead. They need to say how they want it to be done. And the hardest thing to have that conversation is with our loved ones. So how do you start that? We would love to be able to have that discussion. We also have pets. Pets are our family as well, and we honor them on our site. And so if you have a story about your pet and a journey, go to our site, last5yards.com. Tell us your story. Mother's Day is coming up. If mom's passed, as my mom has, tell the story, your journey. No one can debate what you feel and what you've done in your lifetime here on Earth. I also want to talk about the one thing that I've learned out of all of this, besides liking corn. I want to tell you this. I didn't know what it meant to live a fulfilling life. I thought I had it figured out. But it wasn't until I experienced death that I now understand it. Thank you.
Wow, John, thank you so much for that and allowing us everywhere to pause the time, the arms of time.
Yeah, I have been
Yeah.
both, a person with disability and also a caregiver, and also have seen the burnout and the lack of education and the lack of support of caregivers. And when they don't have that network and that education, it's not just them that suffers. It's the socioeconomic status of their family and their community. I mean, the ripples of that deficit are so significant. And so what an applaudable just cause, and your passion is so radiant. Thank you so much for doing the hard work that you do, because caregiving is one of the hardest jobs out there.
Thank you. It's time to pause and connect, right? Make sure you tell your loved ones that you love them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, John.
Thank you for having me today.
Yeah, you got it, John. And I've never heard the term carefluencer before. And you're right.
New York Times started
it. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that's probably one of the biggest surprises that people get, encounter in their lives. It's something you don't really think about until you're in it. And so thanks for sharing your story and sharing your resources, and really being a cause for people to know what to do and to have somebody to turn to and to feel like they have a community they can rely on for that. That's really, truly amazing.
Awesome. Yeah, all from one person, right? Beautiful souls, good people. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks. Awesome. Last5yards.com. Thank you, John Kerr. Appreciate having you.
All right. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.